Here we are in New York City. It's a real hectic day. I've got to take an order up to my friend Alex at the restaurant Chiquito. I'm taking her a bunch of chilies. She's one of the most imaginative cooks in the city with my chili peppers, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm parked in one of the there's like 4 or 5 parking spaces in the whole city where a farmer's market truck can park without worrying about getting a ticket, and I happen to be in that one. So I think we're only going about 4 or 5 blocks to Alex's restaurant, so I think we may just do this delivery in a taxi. You know that pepper, huh? You want it? Pimento, huh?
When you drink, pepper is good when you drink, man. Like, after you drink, you know.
When you drink a beer, you mean, or what?
When you drink alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, when you have alcohol in the system, you feel it for the hot pepper, you know?
It sobers you up. So you eat it before you drive home, huh?
Exactly. Yeah, man, because in Trinidad, when you finish drink, there's something called doubles, right? It's like an Indian dish.
It's a what dish?
Indian.
Okay. Doubles.
Doubles, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like chana, curry chana.
Right.
And there's like a soft bake, really soft bake. You eat that and you put a lot of pepper in it when you finish drink. Put a lot of pepper and eat that. That's like early morning, like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
When you've been liming.
Yeah, when you've been liming. Exactly.
When I was in Tobago, we'd be driving home late at night and on these real narrow roads, and all of a sudden there'd be a big party, and everyone was out in the street. It was, I mean, you had to just crawl through the crowd. Where are we? Are we at 20? Yeah, this is good right here.
We're going to go in the back way here at Chiquito, and this restaurant, when you come in at this hour, it smells like roasting peppers in there. It smells so good. Hey, Alex, how are you?
Great.
I got some goodies. I think you know everything here, and I have a little surprise because these are just starting to come in after sort of not producing for a while. These are the Padron chilies. These are the Grenada seasoning. I don't need to tell you this. You know.
Well, I always have trouble distinguishing between the Grenada and what's this other one again?
That's a Trinidadian, yeah, that's a Trinidadian pimento. One of the things I love about this restaurant is the unique names. It makes it so exotic. There's a lot of TXs, and it took me the longest time to pronounce the word, but the name of the restaurant is Chiquito.
The way that the Basque define themselves are the people who speak the Basque language. And it's a language that's completely unconnected to any other language. They think maybe, possibly, it could have something to do with either Hungarian or Finnish, but the similarities are very small. Okay. One of the ways that the Basques have preserved their culture is actually through cooking, especially at these chocos, these like private cooking societies and clubs.
Could you say that the Basque cooking has, I mean, has influenced Spanish cooking in many, many ways?
Definitely,
definitely. Is there anything in particular that you would point out and say, this is Basque?
Using olive oil as a cooking medium, like poaching fish in olive oil, is a big Basque. A traditional Basque preparation, and I think a lot of people have sort of glommed onto that. And a lot of the contemporary, sort of vanguard Spanish cooking was born in the Basque country. The tapas tradition has really taken off in the Basque country, and there's these pinchos bars that are making miniature cuisine or very sophisticated cuisines. Yeah. And those places are really inspiring. The word tapa means to cover, and so there's a lot of. Well, I think it's a national tradition. The amount of priority that's given to good eating is really important. And what I call the democracy of food, that like a bean has as much value as a piece of meat, as a piece of caviar, and everything's treated with that kind of respect. The Basques are really good about showcasing a limited number of ingredients on a plate, and then those flavors are really elastic, and they just kind of bend them in a million different ways so that they're always taste fresh. But they're very few ingredients, and they're treated very simply so that they have a pureness of flavor. What I have here is a pound of the Oikos yogurt, the zest of 1 lemon, 3 eggs, a cup of regular AP flour, and a cup of cake flour, which is self-rising flour, 2 tablespoons of baking soda, a 1/2 cup of sugar, and a pinch of salt. You don't want to totally over mix it, and then you let it rest, and it should sponge out like this, so that you'll see the air right in it when you pull it apart.
How long do you let it rest for?
20 minutes.
In the refrigerator or how?
This has been at room temperature, but you want to fry these at last minute. So if you're gonna save them for like a few hours, put it in the fridge. You need some vegetable oils to fry in. We're frying in canola oil, and you need it about between 350 and 375 degrees. So make sure your oil is hot, but not excessively hot. And then you want to drop this in by teaspoons into the oil. Get kind of close to the oil when you're doing this, because frying is always dangerous. Do it carefully. Usually fear is what gets you burnt. So just stay close to the oil and kind of hold it until it releases itself from the spoon. That way it floats and it doesn't go to the bottom of your oil and stick to the bottom of your pan. And again, teaspoon, because these expand. There's a lot of baking soda in there, and then there's that self-rising flour. And they don't need to be like a perfectly round shape. They kind of correct themselves a little bit in the oil, but they can be like a little bit like rough. And that holds the honey on that we're going to put on later. Tim brought beautiful honey and beautiful peppers. And we've got 3 kinds of peppers, actually 4. We've got Grenada seasoning peppers, ají dulce peppers, Brazilian wild peppers. What was the second yellow one?
The
Trinidad.
Pimentos.
This is a really, really spicy one. And literally there's only half of one of those in there to a cup of honey. And you don't want to serve that one to anybody, so I pull it out after it's infused. Whereas these, you can just slice them up and you can be generous with them.
That's what's in the honey.
That's what's in the mixture of
honey,
seasoning pepper, and a little bit of lemon juice, and a little bit of orange blossom water if you have it. That's optional. And so these will just bob on one side, and then you have to roll them over so that they get. And,
the right temperature,
and then you want to, they float on the top, so you want to swim them a little bit, what's called swimming, which means just sort of, first of all, make sure they roll over, and if they don't do it on their own, help them. And then you get them pretty dark brown, because you want to make sure that they get cooked through on the inside. If the batter's properly rested and you don't scoop it too big, you should be really successful, from the beginning. It's not complicated.
Someone's just using like a, doesn't want to have a deep fry. You just need to they need to be able to float in there, right?
Exactly, so like 2 inches of oil.
2 inches of oil.
Make sure you have a big enough pot, because oil is really combustible, and you don't want it to oil expands when it gets hot. So make sure that you've got plenty of pot to the amount of oil that you have. When you're sure that they're done, you just fish them out and get the excess oil off on a paper towel. We're pretty traditional here, but with desserts we're a little more whimsical, and we have a little more freedom, I think. It's just something that I've decided that we have. Just to keep things fresh. I mean, I think traditional desserts are great, but they tend to be very monolithic in the Basque Country. Usually it's like eggs, flour, almonds. And so to get a little more playful, we take the contemporary approach, which is anything goes.
So this has the ají dulce, and this has the Grenada seasoning, and maybe I want a little bit of each.
They're all infused into the honey, so you should get all the flavor.
I'm a little bit of an egoist, I have to admit. I do notice my peppers very much, but this looks like it's going to be excellent.
So yeah, and that honey you could just keep on your shelf forever with the peppers in it.
This is beautiful, the golden brown color, and the aroma it's giving off. I can smell the peppers, I can smell the honey. It's really what a unique combination. And now here's the
test.
Wow, did that perfectly. On the inside, on the inside it's just real, look at it, it's just real delicate, kind of like angel food cake. On the outside it's golden brown. Now how did you do it? The honey was, you just
warmed it.
You just warmed it.
And then I added the peppers. The peppers are just like a little chiffonade.
So like 100 degrees or something, or?
Yeah, not even, you don't want to get it too hot.
And for how long did you?
I did it, actually, you can do this at home in the microwave for it depends on the power of your microwave. I put the honey in the microwave for 45 seconds maybe, but I had a larger amount of honey, so you just have to adjust it depending on how much you're making. This is buñuelos de yogur with pepper-infused honey, otherwise known as yogurt fritter with pepper-infused honey.
Well, Alex, that was great. Thank you so much. And we'll be back soon for some beans.
All right, thanks. I'll see you at the market on Saturday.
All right.